What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I got a really interesting video for you guys today. Okay, so I got this email from a 24-year-old woman who is married to a man who is not very dominant. The reason why I'm doing a video on this is to respond to her, but also to help you guys, because I thought this would be good for you to see what she thinks about dominant men, and so you can understand why this is so important. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog Mindset. If that sounds like something that you are interested in, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the bell so you get notifications when the new videos come out. And then also, guys, there is a Bulldog quiz here. Take that quiz, see what your Bulldog score is. There'll be a link in the description below as well. All right, so we're going to jump right into this email. So we're going to break this down, little by little here, and talk about some of these things here. So she says, I'm 24 years old and have been married to my husband for 5 years. He's 10 years older than me. And in the beginning, I was initially interested in him because he was nice, caring, all the things girls want, until some of us realize we want more. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about this, right? So just a couple of things. I'm going to analyze this so you guys can really get a lot out of this. And I'm going to get to answering the questions here, but I want to point out some of these things here. So first of all, she's 24. Her husband's 10 years older, so he's 34. Okay, she's been married to him for 5 years. So you can see the age difference there, for a lot of guys that are wondering. And, this woman, obviously, she is going to want a man that, it doesn't surprise me that she's married a man that's older, because even though she didn't know she was looking for this kind of dominant, kind of authoritarian figure, that's typically why girls want older men, is because they do want a man that's more established, that knows who he is, that is able to be more dominant, okay? Now, let's see. So she's been married for about 5 years, okay? Now, the other point here, guys, to understand is that, and this is a problem, okay? This is what a lot of you guys face as a problem, all right? And I want to tell you right now is that you may get the interest of a girl that because you are older and you're established and you're nice and you're all the things that she thinks that she wants in a guy, you could say like the beta bucks type of guy. But after 5 years or so, okay, she's going to lose a lot of interest. Why? Because she actually wanted the alpha male guy. Okay, so she made a decision to get with you, and maybe she was attracted to you to some degree, just not that primal raw attraction, because she knew that you would be a good guy for her. Okay, but eventually, like she says here, all things all girls want, until some of us realize we want more. Okay. And the reason why I think this is so important, guys, is because it's not an intentional thing. A lot of times I think a lot of guys can make this seem like some kind of malice, like the woman is like purposely choosing alpha guy or beta bucks, or like trying to strategize for her long-term plan. No, she isn't, right? What's happening here is that she thinks that she wants this guy that's nice and caring, right? And thinks that she can be happy with this guy, but then she realizes at some point that she wants more. She actually wants a dominant man. She wants a man that can put her in her place, that won't put up with her shit, that will put his foot down, okay, that will do those things. All right, so even if you might have some success, right, without being that guy, without being that alpha male, what's going to happen is that you're going to be in trouble later. And a lot of guys that get into marriages, they get into long-term relationships, they face this problem here. Okay, so I want to point that out. Now, she says he is a very nice person, but sometimes that's the issue. All right, I've been trying to figure out for the longest why I haven't ever really respected him. Okay, read this as felt extremely sexually attracted to him. Okay, that when women say respected him, it's true, but that's also what they mean, right? These things are synonymous. Okay, a woman is not going to be sexually attracted to you. She does not respect you. All right, in fact, that's the clear way that you can tell that she's not. All right, the way a man should be respected by his wife. Again, she's using words here. It's kind of code. It's true, right? One sense is true, but at a deeper level, what does this really mean? Okay, it means to be treated like a king. It means to have her actually have genuine desire. All right, and there isn't an excuse for it. I obviously have my own issues, right? So she's kind of feeling here, right, that, you know, she doesn't know why she hasn't really respected him, okay? And she knows she has her own issues, okay? And this is a common thing, right? So again, like when I talk about this, guys, the issue is a lot of times, you know, a lot of you guys are looking for the perfect girl out there. And I'm not saying not to be discerning, and I'm not saying not to have standards, but a lot of times the behavior of the woman in a relationship is going to be based on the behavior of the man, right? So you can have a girl that treats you like shit, all right? She's a complete bitch. She walks all over you. She has all these emotional tantrums and breakdowns on you, and basically does not respect you at all, okay? And then you can have that same girl and put her in the relationship with a more alpha man, a different guy, and she'll treat him like a king. She'll give him shoulder rubs when he comes home from work. She'll take care of him. She will not disrespect him at all. She'll have a high level of sexual desire for him, and complete opposite. Same woman, same issues, same everything. And the reason why is because biologically we're designed in such a way that women are going to test men, and they're looking for a strong dominant man so that they can submit to a man that's worthy of their submission. When they find it, they are going to submit naturally, and they want to, and that creates a high sexual desire for them. When the man fails, they actually resent it. They actually hate him to some degree because he's weak, right? They despise. Hate is not the word, it's despise. They despise his weakness. Okay, it's sickening to them. It's pathetic. They don't like it. Okay, so their sexual attraction disappears, and they almost want to bully him. They almost want to beat him up more and make him feel like more of a shit, because they feel so disgusted with him, with his behavior. Okay, if that makes sense. I know it's kind of a weird concept, but trust me on this one, guys. All right, now she says here, but I realize that I crave for him to be dominant, not just in our relationship, but with others too. Okay, not in a demeaning way, but he doesn't stick up for himself. I have an extremely strong personality and it has caused so much chaos. You have no idea. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, because this is every woman. So a lot of you guys think, oh yeah, you know, she's just, this woman's a crazy bitch, or no, they're all crazy. They're all crazy. Okay, they all have, because it's emotion, guys. Okay, women do have strong personalities. It's emotion. Okay, and they have an instinctual drive to push a man to his limits to see how far they can push him. Okay, and the more that he gives in, the more angry they're going to get, and the more resentful they're going to get towards this guy, and the more that they're going to act like this. That extreme personality is going to come out even more, okay, to basically destroy him, right? You don't want to be that guy. If you're in that situation, it's because you're weak, okay, because you're not putting your foot down, because you're allowing this, right? So anyway, she craves for him to be dominant, okay, but not just in a relationship, okay? Because that's another mistake a lot of you guys make. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to tell her, you know, to shut her fucking mouth or whatever. No. First of all, it's not dominant, okay? That's like trying to force dominance. It doesn't work. Like, you have to be able to master yourself first, okay? But it's also with other people, right? It's about sticking up for yourself. It's about not allowing people to run over you and speaking up when you need to speak up. It's about not being the nice guy anymore. It's about being okay with ruffling people's feathers, okay? When a woman sees you in interaction with another man or another person, okay, especially it comes down to like a position of her honor, right? She doesn't want you to like be like, oh, like let's say that she makes trouble at a restaurant or something, or you know, she causes a disturbance or something. She doesn't want you to be like trying to settle down the situation and not make a scene. She wants you to like be willing to fight. Like, okay, yeah, this dude, you know, she caused some trouble with the student. It was her fault. She wants you to go fucking fight that guy, right? Like, again, it doesn't mean that you have to, but what I mean is that She doesn't want you to be the kind of guy that's like, oh, just kind of back out of the situation and try and make everything nice. She wants you to stand up for yourself. She wants you to stand up for her. She wants you to to basically be willing to fight for her. She wants to know that you're willing to do that. Again, it doesn't mean that you're just randomly getting into fights, but it just means that you're capable of it. Okay. So let's move on here. But then inside, I want to be submissive to him. But I struggle with it because I guess I've never looked at him as an authority. Okay. As you can see that, guys, right? She wants to be submissive to him. She wants him to be dominant. All right. She wants a dominant man in her life, but she doesn't see him as an authority because he's not acting like an authority, right? You have to act like an authority in your life, right? What does this mean, guys? It means that you have standards. Basically this, right? That you don't let someone put their hooks into you. You don't let anyone own you based on what they're going to give you, whether that be sex, whether that be money, whatever it is, okay? Validation. You say, no, I live my life based on what I want, on my standards. If you're not complying to them, I'll tell you. I'll call you out on it, and I will tell you. I will be the authority, right? And she wants that. She wants that structure, right? What's happening is this. She is getting out of line, okay? And maybe in response to her getting out of line, he's saying, oh, you're being crazy, you're being mean, why are you being so mean to me, right? Whatever it is, he's not calling her out on it. He's not saying, look, don't talk to me like that. And no means no, that's it. I'm not discussing this anymore. Those are the kind of responses, right? Think about it as it's a take it or leave it. It's like, look, my life is good. You can be part of it or not. If you're part of it, you got to fucking fall in line. I don't have people that don't listen to what I'm saying. You're part of my fucking army, part of my troop. This is my ship. I'm the captain. And, if you want to be on the ship, you better submit to my command. All right. So that's it. That's what it means. All right. Now, without getting deep into detail, I started researching Dee's Dom/sub lifestyle because I wanted to see what it was like and if we'd be interested in it. The problem is a lot of it is really extreme in kind of master/slave relationship, which is a turn off for me anyway. Okay. And again, a lot of women look at this and this is what I'll say about this whole thing is, first of all, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because it has to come from inside first. It can't come from just playing some roles. And maybe you can get some inspiration from those things to understand that. But the whole master slave thing is probably not going to fit in many cases. It may be some fantasy to work out, one time in the bedroom or something like that. But it's not going to be an ongoing thing. No person wants to. Not no person, but most women do not want to be a constant slave to anyone. No one wants to do that, basically, right? So the whole BDSM kind of lifestyle thing, it's not out of the picture. It's not out of the question, right? But it is not the same as just being dominant, right? And you can't be in that and be dominant unless you're actually dominant, right? You have to learn that first. You really wouldn't be able to function in some kind of thing like that without that. So it's like a way of trying to solve the problem, but it's not going to solve the problem, because in this case, even if she gets her husband to be dominant or be a dom and to learn how to be a dom, he's not really, it's fake. It's not real. It's not authentic. It's not coming from him. So she's not really going to get what she's looking for, but she wants this thing, right? She's turned on by this idea. She likes the idea of what this kind of lifestyle or the BDSM is really putting forth, which is really this idea of being commanded, of being told what to do, of being used as a pleasure object for a man, right? These are kind of the concepts that go along with this. And again, the reason why I'm pointing this out, guys, is so you can understand how this actually works. Okay, so let's go a little bit further here. When I somehow came across your video about what it means to be a man and sent that to my husband, which I think he felt insulted, I told him I wasn't trying to make him feel bad or that I didn't value him as a human, but I pointed out that you were so right on many levels. Okay, so the video she's talking about is this video here. Go watch this, guys. It's what it means to be a man in a relationship, dominant or submissive. We'll put a link up here. Link will be in the description as well. By the way, this is a good time, guys, if you haven't already, to check out the Bulldog Mindset membership as well. That is down In the description, there's also a link up here, $7 for the first month trial membership. You know, stuff that I'm talking about in this video, you don't get these insights just from everywhere on YouTube and around the world, right? People aren't going to tell you these things. That's why I created Bulldog Mindset, not just to help you with relationships, but business and finance and to really be a man, okay? I'm teaching you the things that you need to know to be a man, to be a dominant man, to be an authority. Like, you know, the reason why I'm reading you this email is because I want you to understand that women want this, okay? And you don't know how to be this, most of you, okay? That's fine. It's all right. But I'm showing you. Okay. And I'm bringing you into a community of guys where this is the behavior, right? Where guys are learning these things and teaching each other and sharing this information so that you can grow as a man and understand these things. Because, hey, do you want to be this guy that's married to a woman for 5 years and she loses, you know, pretty much all sexual attraction for him and you know, and I'm sure she makes his life a fucking hell with her fucking attitude and problems because he's not putting her in check, and it's just going to get worse. So, I mean, if you want that to be your life, okay, that's fine. Otherwise, you need to find another solution. Again, like I said, go check it out. If you haven't, at least take a look. You can cancel anytime, $7. But all right, let's move on here. Okay. So we talked about the video. All right. She sent him the video. Okay. It's a little dangerous because here's the thing, and I've got another video called How to Make My Husband More Manly. Again, this is another email that I read from a woman who had emailed me wanting her husband to be more manly. Go watch this video as well. I'll put a link up in the cards in the description. I think you'll find this one useful. In fact, this is really directed to you. I won't say your name, but who wrote this email, because you have to be more subtle, right? If you tell a man that he's not a man and you need him to step up and be a man, you're sort of emasculating him in the process. It's not going to work. It's not going to work well for two reasons. One, because he's not going to take that well and he's going to be insulted. And if he's a nice guy, he's going to cry about it. Okay. To put it bluntly, like he not like in front of you, maybe in front of you, but he's going to go home and like go to his private place and cry about it. He's going to be upset about it. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's going to hurt him. And that's a problem because, you know, he isn't at that point yet. And the second thing is that it's not even going to work, because let's suppose that you send him a video on being a man, and then he's like, oh, well, you know, my wife will be attracted to me if I'm a man, so I'm going to be a man. And he does all these things. What you're going to realize is that it's fake in the sense that even if he does the things, what's going to happen is you're like, you just want a man who just gets it. That's what you're going to realize. And you're going to realize that by him jumping through all these hoops and doing all this stuff to gain your attraction, it's actually putting him in the not dominant position, in a submissive position. Even though he's acting the part, maybe he's taking some of the points, he's doing it for what reason? For external validation, for your validation, not because he wants to do it because he's a man. So if you're going to broach the subject, you sort of have to slip hints in such a way that he sort of stumbles upon this path himself, and that he sees the value of this path, and that he starts doing this for his own purpose. If he does it for you because he wants to gain your sexual attraction, you will know it, he will know it, and it's going to come off as pathetic and beta. If he does it because it's something that he wants to do because he realizes he's had this kind of awakening, then it's a different thing. Then it will work. So, okay. Now, it's probably more complicated because, while a lot of women are attracted to the 50 Shades of Grey lifestyle, I'm not an exception. All right? 50 Shades of Grey was one of the best-selling novels of all time. Why? And who purchased it? Women. Why? Because that's what they want. It doesn't matter if there's a list feminism. It doesn't matter what they say. It matters what they do. Always pay attention to what people do. That's what women want. They want a man that is not afraid to put his foot down, that's not afraid to be dominant in that way. They want that dominant man. That's what you have to be if you want that long-term attraction. So she says, honestly, I've never watched the movies, but I know enough about it that I'm into some of it. Not on the extreme side by any means, though, which is fine. A lot of guys don't understand this. But like you said in the video, that women want to submit to their man, not to a jerk and not to someone who doesn't command respect. So this is the key elements here. Okay. It's about being worthy. And this is where a lot of guys get it wrong. You can't fake the worthiness. You have to acquire the worthiness. How do you do it? By having a purpose and mission in your life, right? When I did the video with Alpha Male Strategies, AMS, right? We talked about this a lot, right? He's talking, almost all he's talking about now is being on your purpose. It's true. It's right, because when you are the man who is able to succeed in other areas of your life, making money, okay? Getting a good physique, right? Training hard, right? Whatever it is, right? To have the mental discipline to do those things, building your own business. Again, that's why I point you guys to Bulldog Mindset membership, because that's what we teach in there. That's why I teach all of those topics. Go check it out for $7. All right. But when you are that guy, then what did she say here, right? What did she say here? She said, women want to submit their man, but not to a jerk and not to someone who doesn't command respect, right? Then you command respect. Then you become the guy that's actually worthy of it, that she sees as an authority, rightly so, because you've earned that shit. And imagine where your standards are going to be, okay? If you're a guy who is of value because you have created yourself, you have made yourself of value, okay? You've become knowledgeable. You've developed your wisdom, you've developed your strength, your character, your discipline, okay? You have a reason to, you've developed your mental toughness, you're stoic, right? You have a reason to be proud of who you are as a man. You're not going to accept less. You're not going to accept some bullshit from someone who hasn't done shit, who's going to try and call you out, or trying to belittle you in some way. You're going to be like, get the fuck out of my life. Get the fuck out of here with trying to belittle me in some way. Who the fuck are you? Do you know who you're talking to? Okay, that's the attitude you're going to have. That's the attitude that you need to have as a man. If your attitude is like, oh, I hope I don't upset her. I hope that she doesn't withhold sex from me tonight because she's upset because I didn't do the right thing, or I don't know why she's freaking out and upset. Let me see if I can just calm her down so I don't have trouble. You're not that guy then, right? You actually have to be the guy that's like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care. Yeah, you got your fucking problem. That's great, But I don't care, because you know why? Because I'm not gonna take this kind of shit from you. I'm not going to take shit from anyone. I'm not going to let anyone talk to me in a way that's demeaning, because I know the kind of value that I have. Okay, I know the shit that I've gone through. I know how fucking tough I am, because I've been through that shit. All right, so fuck off. Fuck off. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to do, it's not gonna work on me, because you don't have any hooks on me, because I know what my value is. Okay, that's the guy you have to be, and you have to mean it. You have to actually be that guy, right? Okay, it's very taboo in our society to say women should be submissive to her husband, but my husband and I try our best to be Christians. We know that the Bible says what the Bible says about the headship arrangement, and obviously on some level women like it. Otherwise, that movie wouldn't have been a hit like it was, no matter how much equality is preached today. And she's absolutely right, okay? And the problem with taking the biblical approach for a lot of guys is they're like, okay, well, the Bible says, God says, so therefore you got to be. It doesn't work that way. See, submission is voluntary. It has to be. And when you appeal to a higher authority and you say, well, you got to submit to me because the boss says that I'm in charge. No. You'll submit to me, because if you don't, I'm gone. Because that's my standard. Because I'm of enough value. You don't want to miss out on this. If you do, that's fine. But the only way I'm having you is the way I want to have you. No other way. And that only matters if there's enough value there where that matters. If I try to take something away from you that doesn't have any value, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay? But if you actually have value, if you do matter, that does. That's why appealing to a higher authority never works. Okay? The whole biblical thing is fine. It's great. I don't care if you're Christian or not. But if you're like, you must obey me, wife, because the Bible says so and God says so, not going to work. She's not going to see you as an authority. She's going to see you as fucking weaker. Okay? It doesn't work that way. And if, she's going to try and follow it, maybe, but she's not going to be able to follow it. She's not going to be able to submit to some guy who's a fucking puss. Not going to happen, right? She'll try. She'll be like, well, God wants me to do it. I'll try to do it. She won't be able to do it. She won't be able to do it in her heart. So you got to be the guy. My husband is nice, like I said, so he's willing to try out this dominant, submissive lifestyle, The sexual aspect of it is our own business, but in our day-to-day relationship, I feel like this may not work out because it's not in his nature to be an alpha male. Okay, I was pretty frank with him that you're absolutely right that women want that, but I'm torn as well because I feel I'm trying to make him change for my benefit. I told him, though, that to be an alpha male doesn't just mean you're one at home, it's who you are. Okay, so there's a bunch to unpack in here, right? So obviously she's tried the sexual aspect of it. Okay, good. I mean, that's ultimately what the drive comes from, is this, this sexual feeling of wanting that, of release, of being able to be free, right? When women look at the sexual aspect of this dominance and submissiveness, they want to feel safe, okay? And by that authority and that dominant man, they feel safe, so they can release more of themselves. They can free themselves from thinking and worrying and stressing, and they're just going to do what the man wants to fulfill his desires, which will make them feel free, sexually free, right? Because they have that safety. It's all about safety, all right? Without getting too much into it on YouTube here, I've got more like content like this within the membership where I go into more of the details, stuff that would definitely get this channel banned on YouTube. So I'm not going to go too much further into that. But she says here again, let's just breaking this down here. She says that this may not work because it's not in his nature to be an alpha male. How's that for a slap in the face? How would you like that for your wife to say that? But it's true, right? But it doesn't mean that he can't become one. Okay, his nature has to change, right? This is something I tell you guys all the time, is that if you want to change yourself, you need to change your nature. Okay, so how do you go about changing your nature? It's hard. It's not easy to change your nature. You change your behaviors, you change the environment that you're in, and your nature will change based on that, right? It requires you to have sort of an awakening, sort of a breakthrough, to realize some truth, and then start applying that truth to your life until your nature actually changes, right? So, but that's tough, right? She doesn't see him as an alpha male, all right? And she says, I was pretty frank with him that you're absolutely right that women want that, all right? So she's really wanting him to be that, and she's like, no, absolutely, this is what we want, all right? He's actually kind of lucky that she's telling him these things, because most women are not aware of this, or they won't do this. Like, she's trying to work with him, right? So it's going to be hard because, like I said, the problem is that it's going to feel compelled, right? And if he starts to try and act alpha, what's likely to happen in this case, and I'll tell you, is because she's telling him this, right, is that he's likely to try and act alpha. And what's going to happen when he tries to act alpha? She's going to be like, yeah, you're not really alpha. This is some bullshit, some fake shit that's going on. So she's going to push back really hard against him, get angry at him, right? And then he's going to crumble, most likely, and lose that alpha frame. And then she's going to be even more pissed at him. She's going to despise him even more for trying to be alpha and then for failing, right? Because that failure is personal to her, right? It's like an insult to her that she's not enough of a woman for him to be enough of a man. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird thing. I understand you guys might not get this at a level, but I want you to understand what is actually going on, all right? Because once you understand this, then you'll be able to apply this and you'll be able to see, right? It's possible that he could come through this if he just really did change his nature, and then he really did, when she pushed back against him acting a different way, that he didn't care, because this is who he is now, and he's not going to change for anyone, okay? And that's kind of the problem, is changing for people is not alpha. So she says, I'm torn because I'm feeling like I'm trying to make him change for my benefit. I told him, though, to be an alpha to male doesn't mean you're just one at home. It's who you are. So she's trying to make him change for his own benefit, for her own benefit. Yeah, to some degree, I mean, but it's going to be a benefit to everyone in his life and himself. So, but trying to make a man change, again, that's difficult, right? Again, it's a weird kind of position, because you can't do that and have him be alpha, because an alpha man doesn't change for anyone. He's who he is because that's who he wants to be. If you change for someone, you're not alpha. If you change to be alpha for someone because they want you to be alpha, you're not alpha. It's like a paradox. And then again, she says that it's not just you're one at home. It's who you are. It's kind of your essence, right? And the way, guys, that you kind of become this, right, is from having like your purpose in life and really internalizing your standards and values and having a high view of yourself. When you have a high view of yourself, almost an entitlement, then you're going to act alpha. If you think that, you are worthy of not being treated like shit, if you think you're worthy of being treated like a king, you're not going to allow people's behaviors that demean you to go on. You're going to remove yourself from those situations. You're going to deal with those situations. You're going to act like the value you are. So you have to create that value first, okay? No offense, but if you're some loser living at home with your parents, okay, in your parents' basement, you're whining about how it's so fucking expensive in Seattle or Vancouver or San Francisco, whatever the fuck, okay? And you haven't done anything with your life. You're not really making any serious money. You haven't built a business. You're fucking overweight, and you have no confidence, and you're afraid to talk to people. Like, again, all these things, I was many of those things. But if you're all those things and you're thinking that you're going to be able to somehow be alpha, you're fucking mistaken. There's no way, right? The way that you'll be alpha is when you start getting your shit together in your life, okay? Because then you will value yourself. You'll be like, I know who the fuck I am. If you don't know who the fuck you are, if you can't confidently say that, you're never going to be alpha, okay? So that's why I work on all these other areas of your life, guys, is because if I teach you how to build a business to be successful, to be financially successful, to become a millionaire, to become financially free, okay, and I teach you how to build your physique and to train hard and to develop that mental discipline and mental toughness and be productive, okay, and to be emotionally resilient, right, to have emotional mastery, all right, and to have confidence, right, to have courage, to be able to go out and talk to women that you want to and not care what other people fucking think about you, then you're going to develop those alpha traits. That's the only way to become alpha. It's not going to be some technique. It's not going to be some positive thinking or some mantra. It's going to be actually being that guy that's worthy of that. If you become worthy of it, then you can start thinking that way, and then things can change. All right, so getting down to the end of this, guys. I know this is kind of long, but I want to go into detail. I want to make sure that you guys really get this, okay? So I want to know, here's the question finally, if you think, one, if it's even right that I'm asking him to try to become this person for the benefit of our family. We have a 1-year-old son. And two, if you think it's possible for him to become this. All right, so let's address this first of all. Is it right that you're asking him to become the person for the benefit of our family, right? Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's hard, right? Because it's a challenge. Like, he needs to be this man. Like, it's about being a man. All right, he's not a man, he's a boy. All right, but you need him to become a man. And it is beneficial for your 1-year-old son that he becomes a man, because then he can teach that boy to become a man as well, which is important. And, really, from the perspective of desiring and your life, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be sexually satisfied if you're not with a man. That's just how it is. I mean, maybe you sacrifice your life, or maybe whatever solution you find to that problem, but you're not really going to solve the problem unless he's a man, right? But he's going to have to kind of step into these things on his own. You've said your thing. It's really hard. Like I said, I've got that other video on how to make my husband more manly, which I definitely encourage you to watch. But it's going to be really tough for you to try and ask him to become that person. He's sort of got to find the path on his own, and maybe he'll watch some of these videos. Maybe he'll watch this video and he'll realize who I'm talking about. And, even though I have anonymized the name, and he'll say, yeah, fuck, like, I get it now. And I get it for me, not just for you. Like, I got to be this guy. And this is who he is. So this is the other thing to understand, okay? Men are made, women are born. He's a killer. He's got a lion deep inside of him. That all men are that way. Like, all boys are that way. But they need to go through an initiation, right? They need to go through a process of becoming a man. I've got another video on how to become a man. The process for becoming a man. All right, watch this one. This one, what's that? It's kind of older, but the thing is, like what I was saying here, is that he is this. He has it in him. Okay, it just has to be ignited. All right, it has to be sparked. He has to unleash the fucking dark side, the killer that is inside of him, the one that you want, the dominant man that is trapped inside there. It has to come out through this initiation process. And maybe you've sparked it, maybe, but it's going to be up to him to go through this process. This is, again, going back to the reason why it's important for him is because a lot of times in history, this has been like the job of the father, to teach the son to become a man. It's been lost now. So many men do not teach their sons to become men because they never became men themselves. Okay. So moving on here, do I think it's possible for him to become this? Yeah, I do. Okay. Like I said, it's hard though, because you can't really make him. Okay. You can only express the desire, but even the more you express the desire, the more that it becomes difficult in a way, because it sort of has to be coming from him. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you're going to be more disappointed. Like, you want him to just get it. It's really hard. That's why it'd be better if instead of you stumbling across my videos, he stumbled across my videos and he's like, oh shit. And you had no idea. And then he started acting differently because he realized he needed to be a man, right? There's no way to really orchestrate that essentially, right? But, at this point, hopefully you've done enough to initiate that process. It's really, really difficult for you to, you're kind of powerless. Like, you can't make this happen. Okay. Unfortunately, some things in life, like your choices are, which we'll talk about now. Okay. She says, divorce isn't an option in our marriage unless someone cheats or is abusive, but I've also decided that it's not an option to be disrespectful to my husband and still be with him. Okay. So this is not, well, okay, so it's kind of interesting how this is worded, right? Right? I mean, probably not intentional, but look at this. So divorce is not an option in our marriage unless someone cheats or is abusive. Okay? But, right, I've also decided it's not an option to be disrespectful and still be with him. So what's our way out? This. Okay? I'm not suggesting this. I'm just saying this is what's going to happen. As soon as she finds that dominant man, and then that's a way out. Okay. That's how it works, guys. This is how this happens. Okay. You wonder how this happens. Is it just because this woman is a bitch? Whatever one, no, it's not. It's because she's trapped and she needs an out, and this is a good out. It's true. This is what it is. And so, yeah, she's basically decided, right? And she can't control this. Can she control being disrespectful to him? No. If you don't respect someone, you can't be respectful to them. They have to command respect. That's it. So she's kind of like in this trap situation. So I get it. All right. So coming to the end here. I told him before, if I can't contribute to our relationship in a healthy way, then maybe I should leave, even though it's my own fault. Interesting, right? So she's trying to get out. All right. And sure, she recognizes it's her own fault to some degree. Like, again, so is it her fault? On one hand, yeah, it's her fault because she's not acting like a decent human being. Okay, she's having unrealistic expectations. She's treating him poorly for no reason. She's being emotional. He's doing everything he can and being nice and trying to take care of her and loving her, and she's responding with resentment and being a bitch and treating him poorly and all of these responses. Right? How do I know this? She hasn't said this because I know. Okay, because this is how it works. Why? Well, from a man's perspective, okay, if you're in a relationship with another man, like a friend of yours, let's say, and he started acting like her, that would be unacceptable behavior, right? Like it'd be clearly his fault. But being as she's a woman, I'm not going to say it's not her fault. Everyone's responsible for their own actions, but it's also her biological imperative to push and test and push away weak men. And that's what she's doing. And so she can't really control that instinct. All right, or at least not to a large degree. And a lot of you guys are like, oh, well, women need to control these instincts. No, you need to be the fucking man. If you're the fucking man, you won't have this problem, right? She'll still try and do these things, but you'll push up against it and you won't allow that to happen. So, she's wanting to get out, okay? Because she knows to some degree, like she feels guilty about acting this way, but she can't really help it, okay? And not to try and, get her off the hook here. Obviously, you're responsible when you're like a dick to someone, right? You should just leave them instead of being a fucking dick to them. If you can't respect someone, if they disgust you, unfortunately it's a shitty situation, right? But this is the problem, guys, with not being a fucking man, is that you're going to have to deal with this, and it's going to create some really fucking hard times for you and for other people in your life, because you can't step up and be a fucking man. You have to step up and be a fucking man. Otherwise, this kind of shit's happen. I mean, what's going to happen with their 1-year-old, right? She's not going to be happy. There's a lot of scenarios that I can see that are going to happen here. And she's already justifying in her head leaving him because of this, right? Even though it's her own fault, right? And she will, right? If this continues on. I would like him to call me out on my attitude or treatment of him to help me change that. Isn't that interesting, guys? Isn't that interesting? Like, she's being really honest here, right? She wouldn't tell him that necessarily, okay? But she wants him to put her in her place. She wants him to handle her, to call her out, to not allow her, to put some boundaries in place, right? Because why? Why? Does she want him to be abusive? No. Okay, and that's not what I'm advocating. She wants the safety that comes from boundaries, okay? As a man, you're the rock, you're the strength, you're the pillar, okay? And by having that authority and having those bounds and not allowing people to cross those bounds and having that structure to your home, to your ship, to your, to whatever vessel you are the captain of, it creates safety, because there's safety within boundaries, okay? Society exists because men have created borders, because they've created walls to keep the barbarians out. Okay, all of society, like the reason why we can have Starbucks and we can be pleasant to each other and wear suits and ties and briefcases and go to work and conduct commerce, right, and not live lives of violence, is because of walls that are secured by the blood of men, okay, that are capable of violence. And so that whole boundaries that they create, right? The men that created the borders, that created the walls, that created civilization, right? Civilization is a result of safety, right? You can't have a flourishing civilization, you can't have a flourishing economy if you're in constant mortal danger. So that's what women are always seeking. They're seeking a man that is able to put down boundaries, to put up a fucking wall. And she knows that if he can't hold some kind of standard or wall with her, then he's not going to be useful for protecting her and her family from the barbarians that are out there. So creating that wall, that structure, that's why women crave that dominance, is because it says that I'm a man who is safe, right? Who creates safety, so that she can be free. When she's not in a safety position, she has to become the man. She becomes the dominant one, because she needs to make sure that her kids are going to be okay. She needs to make sure that she's going to be okay. She doesn't have the safety or the trust. So she's constantly in the stress mode. She's stressing out, okay? Because she's being forced to be the man, to be in this role, to take care of shit, because she doesn't trust that there's a man that's strong enough that's going to be able to take care of it. So do you think she's interested in sex? Do you think she's interested in anything else besides survival? She's in survival mode. And that's why she discussed the weak man, even though he's being super nice, is because he's not creating that structure and those boundaries. All right. We vowed to be there in sickness and health, whether that is mental or physical. All right. I grew up in a very violent home, in quotes, and no one around me controlled their emotions, so I never learned how. Okay, this is pretty common, right? I would have guessed this, right? She's probably more on the extreme side of being emotional and really needing to be put in check, all right? But I'm no longer in that environment, and I'm not going to play victim my whole life. And that's good. I mean, that's good that she's not going to play a victim, and she's not in the environment. She recognizes that, but she needs the correction. She needs the authoritarian figure. All right. And again, is some of this her responsibility? Of course it is, right? Does she need to work on herself and develop herself and grow and not have the victim mindset, and not say just because, but to some degree, women are always going to be emotional. Okay. That's a feminine aspect. And so it's not going to solve the problem. She's not going to be able to solve all these problems herself, right? She's still going to want a man that can deal with this, that is going to put her in check, because she's going to have that feminine nature of testing. So to wrap it up, she says, I want my husband to hold me accountable or put me back in line, so to speak, right? Listen to that word, those wording, guys, okay? When you think you should be a nice guy and a white knight, no. It doesn't mean being a jerk. It doesn't mean being an asshole, but hey, hold her accountable, put her back in line. Those are the words that she's using. Okay. And maybe I have that desire because of my messed up childhood. No, I mean, to some degree, maybe it's emphasized, right? It's more so, but this is just natural. This is how women are. Okay. I really don't know. And I like I mentioned earlier, there's a sexual element to wanting him to be dominant, right? Again, this is what it kind of ties into. Okay. She wants that, right? Guys, if you're having trouble here, it's because you're not dominant there. Okay. You have to be dominant in your life, right? I don't know if that's healthy, but I think it's extremely sexy for a man to put his foot down. Again, look at the words that she's using. She thinks it's extremely sexy for a man to put his foot down. Okay, this is not just one woman here. I get emails like this all the time. This is very common, and this is how it is, right? But I just want to get your view on the situation. Thanks for reading the book. Okay. So that's it. So my view on the situation is, like I said, is I think these are all perfectly natural desires. This is, I can read more into the situation than that's even on this page because I know the situation. I know exactly how it plays out, and I know what's likely to be the outcomes if things don't change. And unfortunately, as a female, you don't have a lot of control over this, right? This is why, men are in the position to lead. And they need to lead and they need to become men. And it's important. And, what I would say is that what is the best thing you can do in the situation is, send some hints, right? Give him a little bit of guidance. But I talked about in this other video, and the other video you can check out on how to make your husband more manly. I talked about treating him a little bit more like a king, right? So sort of like get that lion out of him, right? Especially, you can use a sexual lure, right? And I think that's going to be something that could work is tell him about some fantasies that you had or that maybe that you come up with or a dream that you had where he was acting in a certain way and how turn on that made you, and get into some detail, like give him a little bit of good bait there where he's going to be like, yeah, all right. Like, I get it, right? Like, it's not going to be like you tell it, because if you tell him, you're like, I want you to act like this. I want you to choke me. Instead of telling him, I want you to do this. I want you to be dominant. I want you to do this, right? You basically, you talk about a dream that you had where he acted this way, and then you show how you reacted to it and how much you really like that, right? Get him going, get that fire burning in him, and then he will want to act that way, right? It's almost like it's like a positive reinforcement, right? And you can sort of manufacture situations a little bit, right? Okay, so he's talking to the clerk at the bank, and he's like, no, I'm going to talk to your supervisor, right? Again, maybe it's not really super alpha, but just tell him afterwards, like, yeah, I like how you commanded some authority in that situation, and what you said there kind of turned me on, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can sort of train it that way by looking for the small. It's like training a dog, okay? Right? I mean, we're all animals to some degree, right? You look for the smallest positive behavior and then you reward it. So look for him to start exhibiting some dominant behaviors, okay? And then reward those behaviors. And then over time, hopefully it'll, again, you don't have direct control over this. There's not a lot you can do, but this is something that may work and it may help. So, all right, this is a long video, like an hour long. So guys, if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button. Like I said, the trial membership for $7, Bulldog Mindset membership, is down below. And, I go into a lot of the kind of bedroom stuff and being dominant and discuss a lot of different issues in there. Plus there's a whole community of guys in there. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't shared this video, if you think it'll be useful to someone, I hope that you would know someone in your life where this would be useful, and watch some more videos. In fact, a good one to watch is why alpha males have a low